Okay, so welcome everyone. So today's chapter we are going to learn about acid bases. Okay, so hopefully in schools and all acid bases was done. So we'll start with our new chapter, that is acid and bases. Pretty easy chapter, बहुत कुछ नहीं है, ठीक है. सिर्फ रिएक्शन थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, बहुत लोगों को ये सब कंफ्यूज होता है. So we'll make it little bit easy for you. Okay, so acid bases and salt. Okay, so acid bases and salts, I think this chapter was started way back than in 10th. Okay, इसका इंट्रोडक्शन हर एक क्लासेस में दिया गया है, ठीक है. जैसे कि 7th में, 8th में और 9th में उतना नहीं था, और अभी 10th में, ठीक है. सो एसिड, ठीक है. अभी तक तुम्हें बोला होगा, टिल नाउ दे हैव टोल्ड यू व्हाट इज एसिड. एसिड इज समथिंग व्हिच tastes sour in taste. Okay, and they have told what is base. A base is something which will taste bitter. Okay, now let us understand what is the actual definition. Okay, so if you go through acid, it is nothing but which releases H plus ions, donates H plus ions, or releases H plus ion, donates H plus ions. Any solution which donates H plus ion, we call it as acid. Then what do you mean by base? Okay, base is nothing but which donates OH minus ions. सही है. Okay, now there are certain things which are called as indicators. Okay, so what is indicator? Indicator is something which will indicate whether the given solution is either acidic or basic. Okay, so this we call it as indicators. Okay, now there are different types of indicators. This all are introduction part. Okay, so you just need to understand the definition. Okay, hopefully you have understood what I mean by acid. What is acid? Acid is something which donates H plus ions, and base is what? Something which donates OH minus ions. And the basic definition is something which tastes sour, and base is something which tastes bitter. सही है ना. और एक और दिया गया था, एक और इंडिकेटर के बारे में हमने बहुत पहले भी बात किया है. ओके, सो दैट इज litmus. Okay, so litmus is an indicator which indicates whether the given solution is or given substance is either acidic or basic. Okay, now if you have a blue litmus paper and you dip it in an acid, it will always turn into red. क्या बोल रहा हूं मैं? If you take a blue litmus paper and dip it in acid, you will get a red. Similarly, if you take a red litmus paper, okay, and dip it in base, you will get a blue in color litmus. Okay, blue colored litmus. So ये सब तो बहुत this and all are like really लॉजिकल है, सेंसिबल है. आई मीन लॉजिकल या सेंसिबल से ज्यादा मतलब ये सब बोल के दिया है पहले सेशन में सब, ठीक है. सो इसमें ज्यादा वरी मत करो, लेकिन याद रखो, हर वक्त याद रखो. अभी रिसेंटली मैंने केवी का बुक्स देखा, जिसका उनका बुक सब चेंज हुआ है. उसमें बहुत नीटली 7 के बुक में ये सब एक्सप्लेन किया है, ठीक है, विद लॉट ऑफ एग्जाम्पल्स. ओके, सो रिमेंबर, an indicator is something which will indicate the given solution is either acidic or basic. Okay, very good. Now let us go to the chapter itself, the main topic itself, that is indicators. ठीक है, अभी इंडिकेटर का डेफिनेशन तो मैंने बोल दिया, सही है ना. तो अभी इंडिकेटर्स में देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स. ओके, वन इज नेचुरल इंडिकेटर. क्या? One is a natural indicator, and one is a synthetic indicator, and the third one is a olfactory indicators. What all we have? We have something called as a natural indicators, synthetic indicators, and olfactory indicators. ठीक है, अभी इसको याद रखो NSO करके, ठीक है, ये तो NOS, ठीक है. इफ यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दिस यू कैन रिमेंबर इट हैज द NOS numbers. You write in maths or anything short forms when you're writing question, numbers of questions, so you can remember it in that way. That is NOS, that is nothing but a natural, synthetic and olfactory. Okay, what do you mean by natural? A natural indicator is something which is present naturally. Okay, which is कुछ भी करके तुमने प्रिपेयर नहीं किया, naturally present है और naturally ये indicate करता है, ठीक है. There is a flower which indicates whether the soil, okay, is acidic in nature or basic in nature depending upon the color of flower produced. Okay, depending upon the color produced. I think the flower name is hydrogenia. Okay, so this is something, this is one of the example for a natural indicator. Okay, turmeric is also a natural indicator. Okay, then we have a synthetic indicator. Synthetic indicator क्या है? Synthetic indicator मतलब it is not present naturally, you are preparing it chemically. मीन फैक्ट्रीज में सब, इंडस्ट्री में सब प्रिपेयर किया हुआ इंडिकेटर, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? सिंथेटिक इंडिकेटर. इसमें दो आता है जो तुम्हारे टेक्स्ट बुक में एक्सप्लेन किया है, वो है, एक है तुम्हारा फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर और एक है मिथाइल ऑरेंज. ओके, क्या है? तुम्हारे पास दो है, फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर और मिथाइल ऑरेंज. Now you have to remember, whenever I take acid, okay, for phenolphthalein indicator, okay, अगर मैंने एक का phenolphthalein indicator लिया और उस पर एसिड डाला, okay, अगर वो कलरलेस रहा, ठीक है, phenolphthalein indicator एक्चुअली कलरलेस ही है, अगर मैंने उस पर एसिड डाला और फिर भी ये कलरलेस है, so that basically it is indicating that the given solution is acidic in nature. ठीक है, क्या बोल रहा था मैं? अगर मैंने एक एसिड लिया, एक सॉल्यूशन लिया और उस पे मैंने फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर डाला, क्या डाला मैंने? एक मैंने एसिड लिया, एसिड सॉल्यूशन है, और मुझे, मे बी यू थिंक इट लाइक दिस, देयर इज अ कलरलेस सॉल्यूशन, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इट इज, आई वांट टू चेक वेदर इट इज एसिड और बेस. सो व्हेन आई टेक दिस सिंथेटिक इंडिकेटर, द नेम इज फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर, आई टेक इट and I dip it. Okay, 2 drops I put in this colorless solution. If still it is colorless, that means the given solution is a acid. Okay, and if I take a base, okay, I have same one more colorless solution is there, and I want to check whether it is acid or base. If I added a drop of indicator and the solution has turned into pink, pale pink, okay, that means the given solution is a base. You have to remember this. So what did I tell? Acid में अगर मैंने एसिड पे फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर डाला तो वो एसिड है तो कलरलेस रहेगा, अगर बेस है तो पिंक इन कलर रहेगा, ठीक है, पेल पिंक कलर निकलेगा, ठीक है. सिमिलरली मिथाइल ऑरेंज ऑल्सो. ओके, मिथाइल ऑरेंज क्या होता है? एसिड पे रेड होता है. क्या रहता है? एसिड अगर मैंने ऐड किया, एसिड पे मैंने मिथाइल ऑरेंज ऐड किया तो एसिड पे दिस becomes red, and for base this becomes yellow. Okay, so remember this, remember very carefully. Okay, again I will tell what phenolphthalein indicator में क्या होता है. एसिड में अगर मैंने इंडिकेटर फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर ऐड किया तो इट विल बी कलरलेस, अगर मैंने बेस पे फिनोफ्थलीन इंडिकेटर ऐड किया दैट विल बी पिंक. एंड इफ आई टेक methyl orange, if I have added methyl orange to acid it will become red, and if I have added to base methyl orange it will become yellow. Okay, good, very good. So this you have understood hopefully. Then there is something called as a olfactory indicator. भाई इससे क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था basically in all of this. Okay, so certain competency based questions will be asked. Okay, so I have told previously, once I finish with all the chapters I'll do only question sections. Okay, that means all CBSE based questions of every chapter will be done, and so that it will be helpful for you to learn pretty fast. Okay, then olfactory indicator. Olfactory indicator मतलब क्या है कि अगर मैंने कुछ भी एक मटेरियल लिया है, ठीक है, और मैंने उसको एसिड पे ऐड किया है, उससे स्मेल से मुझे पता चलेगा कि इधर वो एसिड है नहीं तो बेस है, ठीक है। सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द चेंज इन द स्मेल while taking the any substance and adding it to the acidic solution or basic solution, if the smell changes, if the smell changes or odor changes, we call it as olfactory indicators. मतलब स्मेल से हमें पता चलेगा कि given substance is either acidic or basic. Okay, so that is the example is onion. Okay, if you take onion peels and keep it in cloth, two strips of cloth you take, in two strips also you have roll an onion and keep it in a refrigerator. Next day you take it and the two strips you take, one you put it in acid and one you put it in a base. Okay, now in acid what happens is the smell of the onion strip, I mean onion close strip, does not change in acid, whereas in base it fades away. Okay, it fades away. So that means basically it is telling base में smell जा रहा है, odor जा रहा है उसका, whereas in your HCl it's not. Okay, it's still the same. Okay, so with this we are able to understand what ये एसिड में स्मेल नहीं जा रहा, मतलब ये एसिडिक है और ये बेसिक है, तो हम लोग बोल सकते हैं कि क्या हो रहा है इधर, ठीक है। सो सिमिलरली फॉर क्लोव ऑयल सेम होता है, एसिड पे स्मेल वैसे ही रहता है और लेकिन बेस में स्मेल स्लोली फेड होता आता है, ठीक है। और सिमिलरली इन वेनिला एसेंस एसिड में सेम रहता है, whereas in base it slowly fades away or changes, the order changes. Okay, so this might be asked in questions, please remember this. Okay, so indicators हमारा हो गया, ठीक है। Now coming to our reaction part of this, that is how do acids react, ठीक है। अभी first and foremost in this thing is acid reacts with the metal to give salt plus hydrogen gas. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है भाई, अगर हम तुम लोगों ने इफ यू हैव लर्नड दिस इक्वेशन then you will always remember, no matter what happens, if an acid reacts with the any metal, you will always get a salt and a hydrogen gas. Isn't it really fascinating? So you just have to learn this reaction, this word equation where they're telling any acid, if it reacts with a metal, it will always give salt and hydrogen gas. So one of the example which is given in your textbook is they have taken H2SO4 okay, and zinc granules. Understanding? So basically according to this what happens, according to this equation what happens, you will always get a salt. Okay, that is you will get always a salt, that is ZnSO4 plus what is released, hydrogen gas. Pretty simple, right? What is there? So how do you confirm that hydrogen gas is released in this reaction only, particularly in this reaction only you take? In a test tube you have added zinc granules, to that you have added H2SO4 and you heated it a little bit. So what happens, hydrogen gas is released. Okay, so hydrogen gas is released. How do you confirm that hydrogen gas is released? You take a candle and place it near the opening of the test tube. Okay, that if hydrogen gas is released, you will hear up, that flames will burst. Okay, it will make a popping sound. Okay, so that confirming that this reaction is releasing hydrogen. Okay, so next in this is metals react हो गया, सही है ना। अभी नेक्स्ट है हाउ डज द एसिड रिएक्ट विद द मेटल हाइड्रोजन कार्बोनेट और मेटल कार्बोनेट. ओके, मेटल carbonate. So do you people remember any reaction? Do you remember where did we learn hydrogen carbonate, okay, or carbonate? Okay, so we have done certain reaction in first chapter, that is chemical equation and reaction. Okay, but here we will understand metal hydrogen carbonate. Okay, when acid reacts with the metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate, you will get salt obviously. Okay, salt तो पक्का मिलेगा. Okay, then we have a carbon dioxide plus, okay, water. What will you get? Water. Okay, so remember, take any acid and react it with metal hydrogen carbonate or metal carbonate, you will always get salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. अभी ये जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज हो रहा है उसको हम लोग कंफर्म कैसे करेंगे? ठीक है, सो बेसिकली यू जस्ट हैव टू टेक अ लाइम वाटर. ओके, अगर तुमने लाइम वाटर लिया और इस गैस को तुमने उस लाइम वाटर में पास किया, अगर वो लाइम वाटर मिल्की में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, मिल्की में टर्न हो रहा है, सो बेसिकली इट इज इंडिकेटिंग वाटर. Basically it is indicating what? It is indicating that the given reaction is releasing carbon dioxide. Is releasing what? Carbon dioxide. So remember this. This also can be used for the confirmatory test of carbon dioxide. Okay, whether it is released or not. Okay, and for this one pretty example is take Na sodium carbonate लेते हैं, NaCO3. Okay, NaCO3 means what? Sodium carbonate plus H2SO4. क्या मिलेगा? You will get salt. So what will be the salt here? NaSO4 plus CO2 plus H2O. सही है ना? क्या मिल रहा है? NaCO3 plus H2SO4 NO2SO4. ओके, सही है ना? बैलेंस है ना? एक बार SO4 CO3 H2. हाँ सही है, बैलेंस्ड है. ओके, सो दिस इज अ बैलेंस्ड. नाउ whatever. Okay, now I told lime water turns milky. So कैसा होता है लाइम वाटर? क्या है लाइम वाटर का? मैंने फॉर्मूला बोला था, that is in our previous chapter. This will rub. Okay, so in previous chapter I had told, okay, you take lime water. What is the formula of lime water? Okay, what is the formula of lime water? Calcium hydroxide or lime water. इसको अगर मैंने कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड पास किया, ठीक है, अगर लाइम वाटर, ये लाइम वाटर को मैंने अगर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड दे दिया तो क्या हो रहा है? लाइम वाटर इज टर्निंग milky. Okay, lime water is turning milky, so that means it's forming a precipitate, that is calcium carbonate is formed. Okay, what is it forming? A calcium carbonate. देखो, this is attached to one of the oxygen forming calcium carbonate, and what is remaining? Water. ठीक है, because of this only we can indicate that carbon dioxide is released when you are reacting acid with the sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate. ठीक है, so this is a confirmatory test and you get a white precipitate here. What do you get? A white precipitate. Please remember, why am I taking so much time to do this? Is because here questions are asked. Okay, on excess amount of if you take this and excess amount, this entire thing you take and you pass excess amount of carbon dioxide, what will you get? You take this, okay, and you add excess amount of carbon dioxide. What will you get? Calcium bicarbonate. Okay, calcium bicarbonate will you get? Okay, so this calcium bicarbonate is there, no? This is soluble in water. Hopefully you will remember this. Okay, so what did I tell? How does the acid react with metal carbonate? Acid plus metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate by MC मतलब metal carbonate. I have written it in a short form. So metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate. You can also tell this as a metal bicarbonate also. It's the same thing. Okay, metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate or metal bicarbonate. ठीक है, so when it reacts with the acid you will get salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. ठीक है, so hopefully you will remember this. Very easy, pretty easy. इसमें ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है, अभी सोचो, मैंने एक रिएक्शन बोला है जहां पे, ठीक है, अभी मैं सिर्फ एसिड के बारे में बात कर रहा था. नाउ लेट अस गो टू हाउ डू बेस रिएक्ट. ठीक है, बेस कैसा रिएक्ट है, हमें एसिड का अभी तक नहीं हुआ है, एक पार्ट है जो हमें मुझे सिखाना है. ठीक है, दैट आई विल टीच. ओके, फर्स्ट विल टॉक अबाउट बेस. सिमिलरली, फर्स्ट व्हाट डिड वी टॉक अबाउट? एसिड प्लस मेटल विल गिव यू सॉल्ट प्लस हाइड्रोजन गैस बोला था मैंने, सही है ना? सॉल्ट प्लस हाइड्रोजन गैस मिलेगा करके बोला था. सिमिलरली इन बेस, व्हेन बेस reacts with metal, you will also get a salt plus hydrogen gas. ठीक है, and this reaction is there. No, base does not react with everything. Okay, ये बहुत रेयर रिएक्शन है. सिर्फ स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस मेटल के साथ रिएक्ट करो. वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस ओनली विल रिएक्ट विद द मेटल टू गिव salt plus hydrogen gas. Okay, to give a salt plus hydrogen gas. So example लेते हैं जो बहुत important example है, that is sodium hydroxide is considered to be one of the strongest base. When reacted with the zinc, you will get sodium zincate. क्या मिलता है? Sodium zincate. Remember this, remember this, remember this. Okay, so this will be asked, that is sodium zincate, Na2ZnO2 plus H2. एक सॉल्ट है, ठीक है, और इसका नाम क्या है? सोडियम जिंकेट. सोडियम जिंकेट. ओके, सो दिस इज नथिंग बट सोडियम जिंकेट. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड lot of questions, 1 or 2 questions will be asked from here. So remember, base most of the times unreactive है मेटल के साथ, लेकिन it will react with, if it will react with metal only if strong bases are made to react. Okay, so remember this. So this is a reaction of a base with the metal. Okay, now coming to next, that is of this, हम बहुत 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 पहले से इसको पढ़ के आ रहे हैं, and that is acid plus base will react with, will give what? Salt plus water. और इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं neutralization reaction. What do we tell it as? A neutralization reaction. What do we tell it as? A neutralized reaction. मतलब whenever an acid and base react, they will give a salt plus water, and this is considered to be neutralization reaction. Okay, now similarly, do you know what is metal oxide? I have told this. Copper with an oxygen, metal with an oxygen. When a metal reacts with an oxygen, okay, undergoes oxidation, it gives a metal oxide. Okay, now what happens if I take a metal oxide and make it react with acid? Here also I will get salt plus water. है salt plus water. इधर भी एसिड, इधर भी एसिड, इधर बेस है, लेकिन इधर मेटल ऑक्साइड है, और प्रोडक्ट तो सेम आ रहा है. So what is this indicating? It is indicating that metal oxides are basic in nature. Okay, so whenever metal oxide reacts with an acid, it will give salt plus water. Okay, but this entire concept will be flipped away as you go to metals and non-metals. You'll understand what is the main reason. Okay, so for right now, just remember this: metal oxide plus acid will give you salt plus water, which is undergoing neutralization reaction itself. मतलब basically it is telling metal oxide is nothing but basic in nature. Okay, so I have told how acid and bases react with each other. Same concept will be here also. Okay, now remember, non-metal oxide plus base will give you again salt plus water. मतलब so basically it is telling here non-metal are nothing but, non-metallic oxide are nothing but acid itself and base. So ये भी न्यूट्रलाइजेशन रिएक्शन ही है भाई. So नॉन मेटेलिक oxides behave as a what? They behave as a acidic in nature. So their non-metallic acids are acidic in nature, and that gives a same neutralization reaction. Okay. Now remember this. Okay. So this is nothing but reaction of non-metallic acid, non-metallic oxide with the base. Okay, so I have neatly explained everything. There is no confusion here, I believe. Okay, and whatever I have told till here, you go through once. Okay, you understand and go through the textbook and read everything carefully. Check the video, go and see again. Check the other part, go and see again. Okay, like this if you do, your conceptual knowledge becomes strong. Okay, now there are certain questions and all which I'm not doing in this session, which will be done in another session where only question based will be there. Okay, question based videos will be there, and there I will answer, but that time by then you should be well versed with all of what I am teaching. Okay, now अभी एसिड और बेस में क्या कॉमन है, ठीक है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट वेरी carefully. Okay, and this will be our last topic for today. Okay, so understand this. Okay, so what am I telling? What do acid and bases have in common? Okay, what do acid and bases have in common? ठीक है, acid and bases have in common. Okay, so for this to understand, let us take an example. ठीक है, अभी मैंने एक distilled deionized water लिया. अगर मैंने ट्राई किया कि उस पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास करने के लिए, तो उसमें इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास नहीं होता है. हमारा 8th स्टैंडर्ड का कॉन्सेप्ट याद रहना है. 8th स्टैंडर्ड का कॉन्सेप्ट याद रहना है. 8th स्टैंडर्ड और एट स्टैंडर्ड कॉन्सेप्ट. ओके, केमिकल इफेक्ट्स में उसमें बोला गया था अगर पानी में मिनरल्स नहीं तो आयंस नहीं है, उसमें करंट पास नहीं होगा. Okay, so this is what they have told, right? So you take a distilled water or a pure water. So what is happening in pure means they have a deionized, means all the ions and minerals have been removed out. So if I try to pass electricity, it will not pass, electricity will not pass in this water. Okay, similarly if I add a drop of acid to it, okay, और अगर मैंने एक dilute HCl solution लिया और उसमें अगर नहीं तो डाइल्यूट बेस लिया, तो डाइल्यूट HCl सॉल्यूशन लिया और उस पे अगर मैंने इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास करने के लिए ट्राई किया, तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास होता है. और इसको कंफर्म कैसे करता है? एक बल्ब लगाओ भाई, कंफर्मेशन हो जाएगा. ठीक है, सो बल्ब ग्लो हो रहा है तो मतलब करंट पास हो रहा है. अगर बल्ब ग्लो नहीं हो रहा है तो करंट पास नहीं हो रहा है. लेकिन HCl पे करंट पास होता है. व्हाई? दिस इज आवर क्वेश्चंस. ओके, सो व्हाई डज an electricity pass in an HCl solution or base? Okay, acid solution or basic solution. The reason is very pretty simple. You should remember that acid have ions in it. What do we have? For example, if I take HCl, they have cation and anion. से है ना, दो आयन्स प्रेजेंट है, पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव आयन्स प्रेजेंट है. सिंस देर आर आयोनाइज्ड, सिंस देर इट इज आयोनाइज्ड, दैट मींस देर इज आयन्स प्रेजेंट इन इट. ओके, करंट विल पास. अगर करंट पास होना है तो आयन्स प्रेजेंट रहना है. आयन तो प्रेजेंट है इसलिए तो करंट पास हो रहा है. सही है ना, इसलिए इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज बीइंग पास्ड बिकॉज दे हैव आयन्स इन इट. सेम थिंग विद योर बेस आल्सो. दैट इज, लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल, दैट इज NaOH plus minus, right? So you should remember what are the points, what do acids and bases have common. ये सिर्फ जिसी में भी आयन्स प्रेजेंट है उसमें करंट पास होने का चांसेस ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है, और जिसमें सिर्फ एक ही टाइप का चार्ज है, जैसे कि ग्लूकोज, ठीक है, उसमें नहीं तो अल्कोहल, उसमें सब नहीं तो कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड, ठीक है, उसमें सब करंट पास नहीं होता है. ठीक है, क्योंकि उसमें आयन्स वो आयनाइज्ड नहीं है. मतलब इट इज नॉट आयनाइज्ड इन अ सेंस, उसमें दो चार्जेस प्रेजेंट नहीं है, दो आयन्स प्रेजेंट नहीं है, सिर्फ एक ही टाइप का है, इसलिए उसमें करंट पास नहीं होता है. ठीक है, और इसमें दोनों चार्जेस भी प्रेजेंट है इसलिए इसमें करंट पास होगा. ठीक है. Then what do this both have common? This is a very important part of this session, that is if you take acid, okay, that is concentrated acid, and you know that fumes are released, whatever. Now concentrated acid जब तक तुम लोग पानी में नहीं डालोगे, okay, aqueous नहीं बनाओगे, जब तक तुम लोग पानी में नहीं डालोगे, whenever an acid is taken, it will only show its property when H plus is broken down, H plus is dissociated, H plus is dissociated. When it will dissociate? Only when it is in aqueous. Okay, if you take only if it is aqueous, aqueous मतलब क्या है? अगर तुमने पानी ऐड किया है, ठीक है, only if you have added water to an acid, it will dissociate and give acidic properties. Okay, only if you have added water to an acid, then only it will dissociate and give acidic property. इसके लिए एक activity किया है तुम्हारा book में, and this is very important to understand. Okay, either acid or base will only give their property when they have dissociated with water. Okay, they will dissociate under inside a water. Okay, and if it is not dissociated, means H plus broke down नहीं हो रहा है, तो properties आएगा नहीं. Okay, so remember here okay, it will acid will show their property when they are dissociated, only when they are dissociated, and it dissociates in water. For example, next thing is that only what happens to acid and bases in a water solution. Okay, so remember an activity was given here. Okay, so you have to take a dry HCl, okay, and dry litmus. ठीक है, मतलब ड्राई HCl लेना है, ड्राई HCl लियोगे, एक टेस्ट ट्यूब पे डालो, दो टेस्ट ट्यूब लो, एक में ड्राई HCl रहेगा और एक में एक HCl सॉल्यूशन रहेगा. ठीक है, HCl सॉल्यूशन मतलब पता है ना, उसमें पानी ऐड किया. ठीक है, अभी ब्लू लिटमस पेपर ले लो एंड यू हैव टू टेस्ट ट्यूब्स, ड्राई HCl एंड you have a HCl solution. Okay, and on top of that in top of both you will keep a litmus paper, that is a blue litmus paper. Okay, now so अगर ड्राई HCl लिया, दोनों में भी अगर तुमने उसमें कुछ ऐड किया और तुम लिटमस पेपर ऊपर रख रहे हो और उससे गैस रिलीज हो रहा है. ठीक है, गैस रिलीज होने के कारण क्या होता है, अगर लिटमस पेपर कलर चेंज किया तो एसिड प्रॉपर्टीज दिखा रहा है, अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो प्रॉपर्टीज पोर्ट्रे नहीं कर रहा है. सो ड्राई HCl में क्या होता है, जो गैस निकल रहा है, it is not showing any change in color of the litmus. ब्लू लिटमस रेड पे टर्न नहीं हो रहा. इसका मतलब क्या है, कि कौन सा भी एसिडिक प्रॉपर्टी नहीं दिखा रहा है. ठीक है, whereas if you take the HCl solution and keep a litmus paper on top of that, because of the gas released, the blue litmus paper is turned into red. Means what? It is showing its acidic property. Why is it showing? Because it is dissociated in water. It is dissociated in water, because only if it is dissociated it will show acidic properties. Okay, now for this experiment, the example is you have taken HCl and you have added water and you will get something called as a hydronium ion. Okay, and this is something will show acidic property. Okay, what is this called? Hydronium ion. Okay, same thing they will give it in this way. Okay, it means same itself. Okay, understanding? So remember, an acid will show its property only when it is added to a water. That means it will dissociate to give properties of acid. जितना ज्यादा आयनाइज होगा, आयनाइज डिसोसिएट ब्रेकडाउन इज ऑल सेम वर्ड. ओके, जितना ज्यादा डिसोसिएट होगा उतना ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ दैट एसिड. Remember, so how do you define concentration, concentrated acid or weak acid? We'll come to that. Okay, next thing is same thing with base. When NaOH is taken, you add it to water, you will get Na plus OH minus. Okay, what you will get? Na plus OH minus, same dissociation. Okay, so वाटर के अंदर डिसोसिएट होगा. ठीक है, डिसोसिएशन से क्या पता चलेगा कि इधर वो अपना प्रॉपर्टीज बिहेव करना स्टार्ट करेगा. तो इसके लिए एग्जांपल मैं दे सकता हूं. मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स हियर in front of me they are so like, हाँ sir, nice sir, setting sir, that sir, this sir, everything they'll do. ठीक है, लेकिन क्या होता है कि मेरे सामने वो लोग अच्छे से पढ़ते हैं, अच्छे से करते हैं, वो दिखाते हैं मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ सर, वो कर रहा हूँ सर, ये कर रहा हूँ सर, लेकिन जब टेस्ट में मार्क्स आता है तो कुछ नहीं रहता. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब क्या है, घर पे जाके पढ़ नहीं रहे, इधर मेरा सामने एक रहते हैं और ट्यूशन से बाहर जाने के बाद कुछ और रहता है. ठीक है, सो सेम थिंग हियर इज आल्सो सेम. ओके, सो दे show certain characters only in front of a water. Okay, out of water they don't show anything. Same thing is going on here also. Okay, now I had to tell, now we will talk about something called as a concentration of acid and base. Okay, concentration of acid and base. ठीक है, तुम्हारा टेक्स्ट बुक में एक डेफिनेशन दिया है, लेकिन आई विल मेक इट प्रीटी सिंपल फॉर यू. रिमेंबर, हाउ डू यू कैरेक्टराइज एनीथिंग एज अ कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड और वीक एसिड्स? Concentrated acid or you can tell it as strong acid. Okay, strong acid or weak acid. So these two properties depends upon how much H plus ion is dissociated. Okay, how much H plus ion is dissociated. अगर amount of H plus ion is dissociated is more, अगर पानी में ऐड करते H plus ion का dissociation ज्यादा है, so depending upon that I will tell it is a strong acid. Example is HCl and H2SO4. Why? Because these are the acids which dissociate more H plus ions, whereas weak acids, what happens, they dissociation factor is dissociation property is less, so that means dissociation of H plus ions is less, that means it is a weak acid. Now coming to concentration of acid, how do you tell something is same thing with base also. Okay, dissociation of OH minus ions is more, okay, then it means stronger base, less means weak base. Okay, concentration is an amount of H plus ion dissociated, okay, in a given solution. We call it as a strong concentrated. मतलब जितना H plus ions is present, depending upon that we will tell it is either concentrated or diluted. Okay, so remember, okay, amount of H plus ion, okay, per unit volume or something like that. Okay, now, okay, so remember concentration means increase, that same amount of H plus ion. जितना तुम लोग H plus ion ना amount of H plus ion increase हुआ तो उसको बोलते हैं concentrated. किसमें से आता? अगर मैंने वाटर के साथ मिक्स किया. अगर H plus ion ना डिक्रीज हो रहा है तो इसका मतलब क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? डाइल्यूशन. ठीक है, पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम. दिस इज अ पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम. ओके, सो होपफुली you have understood till here, and this is very pretty easy chapter till here, and after this also it is very easy. After this we are going to learn about pH, okay, that is also called as universal indicator. Then we are going to learn about certain characteristics of soil पे acidic है तो क्या करना है, ant sting, nectal sting, and other things also. Okay, then we are going to learn about the salts, different types of salts and their reactions. Okay, how salts are formed. For example, chloralkyl reaction, bleaching powder, baking soda. Baking soda से baking powder कैसा मिलता है. Then we have washing soda. Then we have plaster of Paris. Okay, and why Na2SO4 10H2O okay is considered as a Na2CO3 plus 10H2O is considered as a sodium carbonate decahydrate. Is considered to be dry or wet. Okay, why उसको dry क्यों consider करते हैं? So there are certain questions which you are going to learn. Hopefully by after 2-3 days I'll upload a new video about this, and this is just a part 1. Okay, so hopefully you have understood what I have taught, and like always practice more and learn more. Okay, once you start practicing you are winning the game from the initial stage itself. Okay, so if you have any doubts or you need any clarification, either put a comment or approach me in Google. Just type clever course education, you will get my number. And we have two centers in Mangalore, one in Panambur and one in Mangalore PVS. If anyone is interested to join, please come and join our center, and before coming please contact me. And we provide a quality education to all the children. Okay, and remember, your money and your rest of the all the things can be taken away, but the only one thing that cannot be taken away is your education. So please put a lot of effort on building yourself and educating yourself, because education is the only thing which cannot be taken away from anyone, okay, till you die. And remember, always teach others. Okay, don't, there are certain people who have this mentality like usko main क्यों पढ़ाना है अगर उसको मेरे से ज़्यादा मार्क आ गया. Okay, so don't have this mentality. What you have to do is that to improve yourself, you always have to do one thing that is called as Fleming's rule. Okay, so what is Fleming's rule? In a sense, that you, whatever you know, you try to teach a person. It's not focusing or studying. Okay, क्या क्यों करना, क्यों पढ़ाने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि when you teach to someone, you will your revision will be done properly, understanding, and there are certain things which will be left out. There are gaps, you are not studied everything. There are certain gaps which is left out. So what happens, once you start teaching to someone, you will understand where your weaknesses are, where you are missing something, where you have to focus. Once you have teached, you will remember those parts, and you will come back and you will fill those gaps. Once you start doing this, your growth will be exponential. Okay, that means you will grow, learn faster than anyone. Okay, so you don't have to write and learn and those things and all, but if you do these things, you study and you try to teach someone who's sitting simply, is not doing anything, is just coming to class, बुक लेके आते हैं, बुक नहीं लेते, कुछ नहीं करता है, वैसे बच्चों को पढ़ाओ तो क्या होता है, तुम्हारा भी नॉलेज इंप्रूव होता है और उनका भी थोड़ा नॉलेज इंप्रूव होता है. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई बिलीव एंड आई डू द सेम थिंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग. सो hopefully you have taken some good knowledge about this acid and basis, and also about how to improve yourself. Okay, so motivation is important for all the students, I believe. So happy learning, and learn as much as possible. Okay, and good things come with the great decisions. Okay, so see you on the next class.